Action recaps here. Today, I'm going to explain an action, comedy, and horror film called Mayhem. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The Idiosa-Dartellum 7 or ID7 virus, tagged by social media as the red eye virus, is spreading worldwide. It makes the stress hormone level rise, blocks neural paths, attacks one's ID, and throws off a vital balance in people's brains that keeps them from doing anything wrong. In layman's terms, a person infected with the ID7 will lose all reasoning and act on impulse. The first reported case of ID7 was committed by Neville Reed 18 months ago, who had killed a coworker by repeatedly stabbing him in the face. Since then, there have been over 1,000 confirmed outbreaks globally, but the CDC is confident they'll be able to contain the ID7 immediately through quarantines, promising the nation it will be virus-free by the end of the year. They also state that while the virus can't kill, the infected, or Redders, can. Reed is the first Redder to be acquitted of murder, all thanks to Derek Cho. Once an idealistic young man, Derek Cho is molded by the harsh corporate office environment of Towers and Amp, Smythe Consulting or TSC into an amoral, dishonest lawyer. After arguing that Reed was infected with the ID7 and therefore couldn't be held liable for his actions, Derek had managed to throw the man's case out the window and eventually gained a corner office. Derek has worked his way up, but the higher he rises, the more he loses himself. One early morning, Derek witnesses Oswald shouting at the front desk lady, Jenny. Feeling bad, he intervenes and shows Oswald his scandal video, which Derek threatens to sell to his wife if he doesn't leave the poor woman alone. Humiliated, Oswald leaves without another word, and Derek believes that small gracious acts like that will help him sleep better at night. In his office, Derek gets restless after discovering that his favorite mug is missing. He asks his assistant, Miles, if he's seen his mug, but the guy isn't really paying attention and informs him that he's got a collar. Derek then answers the phone and learns it's his sister, Lucy, irritated because he doesn't have time to talk at the moment. Lucy wants to know if Derek is coming to her birthday, and when he tells her that he can't make it, Lucy asks him to paint something for her instead. After their conversation, Derek attends a meeting with Melanie Cross, a client who desperately needs a loan extension to pay her overdue debt. Unfortunately, the person calling the shots in Melanie's case is one of TSC's partners, Irene Smythe, and there's no way Derek would call her. So instead, Derek calls the security on Melanie to escort her out of the building. Derek then tries to relax by drinking a glass of water, unaware that it's infected with ID7. After Derek's meeting with Melanie, Jenny informs him that their boss, John Towers, and senior, Kara Powell, are talking about him messing up a VandaCorp case. Derek is furious because VandaCorp is not his client, so he quickly heads to Kara's office. Meanwhile, Oswald watches Jenny from outside the break room, scratching his red eye. Kara is the director of operations, known in their office as the Siren, since she has the boss's ear. After getting the access code to Kara's office, Derek finally learns that she's the one who's taken his mug. Derek only gets even more furious when Kara tells him that her assistant, Meg, has taken that for her, but the director doesn't really care. Derek then accuses Kara of setting him up, telling her she wants him to take the fall for her, but Kara takes out a file that proves VandaCorp is his client. Exasperated, Derek agrees to take the case to Towers, and while in the elevator, he and Kara won't stop throwing shady remarks at each other. In Towers' office, Derek defends himself by saying that Kara has manipulated the files to make it look like everything is his fault, adding that she's always involved in problems similar to that case. After hearing Derek's side, Towers tells him to leave so he can discuss things with Kara. Defeated, Derek goes to the office of his friend, Ewan Niles, who is disappointed that he's already made a mess of things by talking to Towers without even forming a strategy. As they talk, Kara suddenly bursts into the room and delightfully informs Derek he's fired. Derek is in complete disbelief, but he isn't able to do anything when Kara orders him to pack his stuff. Enraged, Derek declares that he's taking his case to the 9 before demanding she returns his mug. On the other hand, Kara mocks Derek as she rubs her red eye. That same day, the company's board of directors or the 9 finalize Derek's termination. Then, the head of human resources, Lester McGill, pays Derek a visit. Lester takes care of the company's layoffs, so naturally, he's known as the Reaper. He wants Derek to sign a document stating he's accepting the responsibility for the VandaCorp mess, also bribing him with a handsome amount for his severance pay. Rubbing his eye, Derek adamantly refuses, for he knows he could be disbarred. However, Lester isn't at all concerned and calls security to escort Derek out of the premises. Meanwhile, CDC agents and the SWAT team arrive and place the whole TSC building under quarantine. Derek can only watch the commotion in the lobby, while upstairs, Towers is informed by the CDC agent's head that the ID7 virus has been detected in their office through their pathogen sniffers. Because of this, the CDC agents have released a neutralizer into the building's ventilation system, which will eliminate the virus in 8 hours. Seeing the look on Towers' face, the head agent tells him that while an infected person will exhibit changes in behavior and have drastic mood swings, they must try their best to remain calm. Downstairs, an infected Oswald beats Derek. Since he's already been infected, too, Derek grabs a broken scissor nearby and stabs Oswald's foot, beating him senselessly until Ewan steps in. Ewan advises Derek just to hide in his office until the virus subsides, adding that he should never look back once he gets out. Exhausted, Derek agrees with his friend but quickly leaves as soon as he has his back on him. As everything descends into chaos, Derek goes back to the elevator and demands to be taken to Towers' office. However, on Towers' orders, the elevator operator takes him to an abandoned floor instead. There, Towers' man, Colton Snyder, also known as the Bull, beats up Derek. Towers talks to Derek on the phone and mocks him, even though Derek claims he only wants to get his job back. Knowing that his friend is in trouble, Ewan arrives to help him and attacks Towers' other men, only to be accidentally killed by Snyder instead. Ewan is pushed against a wall, where his head hits a protruded nail. Unconcerned, Towers informs Snyder he won't be held responsible for Ewan's death since he's infected with the virus. Snyder then looks at Derek as he mourns Ewan's death, eventually knocking him out with a single punch. Later on, Derek wakes up in a room with an angry Melanie. The two get on a punching and spitting battle, and after Derek proposes they help each other get back on the people who have wronged them, Melanie finally calms down. Being resourceful, Derek uses the broken phones in the room and makes a Franken phone to call the company's CEO, Frank, clearing his name before informing him of Towers' illegal deeds and ineptitude. Disgusted, Frank tears Towers' invoice, prompting the latter to have his men kill Derek. On the abandoned floor, Melanie distracts the guys Towers has sent while Derek attacks them from behind. With nothing else to lose, Derek guiltlessly punches one of Towers' men as he lets out all his frustrations. After that, Derek and Melanie gather all the tools they can in the room to use as weapons, planning to kill the TSC partners and anyone who will stand in their way. Now that they have 8 hours to do whatever they want, Derek and Melanie decide to get rid of Lester first. Melanie fires her nail gun at the Reaper, but the man easily dodges her attack with his cane. Derek and Melanie then gang up on Lester, but when a guard tasers Melanie, Derek is forced to leave her and deal with the guard and his partner. Derek navigates through their office, which is now like a den of mad people, hiding from the men who are hunting him. Meanwhile, Lester attacks an incapacitated Melanie, completely satisfied that the woman can't fight back. When Derek finally manages to subdue the guards by stabbing them, he picks up the nail gun that Melanie kicks towards him and fires at Lester, only to hit his door instead. Derek then helps Melanie up, and together, they enter Lester's office and demand the Reaper's keycard. After initially refusing and being threatened with a nail gun, Lester eventually gives Derek his keycard. However, Lester stabs Derek's hand with a pair of scissors just as he's about to get the card before tackling Melanie to the ground. Other employees happily watch by the door as Lester tries to kill Melanie with a nail gun, but when Derek reminds her to use their weapons, Melanie grabs the circular saw and kills the Reaper. Then, Melanie yanks the pair of scissors from Derek's hand before firing her nail gun at the other employees so they'd make way for her. After a while, Derek sends the 9 a video of him stating that Reed's not at fault for killing his coworker since he's infected with the virus, implying that he, too, won't be held responsible for what he's about to do. Meanwhile, Towers orders Kara to destroy her key card so Derek and Melanie won't get to him, bribing her that he'll make her partner. Accepting the deal, Kara instructs Meg to hide her keycard somewhere safe and not tell her. Towers then asks the CDC agent's head to send the SWAT team into the building and arrest Derek, all the while getting his fix, but the woman refuses since it might cause more chaos. Infuriated, Towers breaks the television with a golf club before ordering a hit on Derek, offering his men $450,000 for Derek's head. After using Lester's keycard to reach Kara's floor, Derek and Melanie finally face the siren. As they're about to fight, the CDC psychologist calls and tries to reason with Derek, asking him not to act on impulse. However, Derek isn't in the mood for talking and asks Melanie to play some loud music instead. He then warns Kara's faithful minions they won't be held liable for the crimes they're about to commit, even giving them the chance to run away before the brawl starts, but the employees don't even flinch. Eager to kill Kara, Derek and Melanie engage in a struggle with the Sirens gang using their tools and even a fire extinguisher. After defeating Kara's army, Derek and Melanie finally make their way to the Siren's office and demand her keycard. Derek even puts the pair of scissors on the table that Lester had used on him, thinking it will scare Kara. Provoking Derek, Kara smashes his mug against the wall and reminds him to keep his cool, for she still holds the thing he needs. Triumphant, Kara calls her submissive assistant to bring her keycard, but Meg reveals that she's destroyed it. Meg casually says the bosses knew Kara would betray them, so they offered her a promotion in exchange for destroying the card. Both angry, Kara and Meg insult each other until the assistant repeatedly stabs the Siren with Derek's scissors. With Kara out of the picture, Derek sends Towers another video showing they've severed Kara's tongue, warning the man to stop playing with them. Later that day, Derek reveals to Melanie that Lucy has given him his mug as a gift for being accepted at TSC. Derek then looks at Melanie's foreclosure case, telling her a signature from upstairs could completely void it. Realizing his mistake, Derek apologizes to Melanie for not helping her earlier, and Melanie accepts his apology. After that, Derek receives a video of Towers happily urinating on Ewan's dead body, making Derek sob out of guilt. Derek tells Melanie Ewan has kids, but there's really nothing they can do about it. Suddenly, Derek and Melanie find themselves unable to control their impulses, and they start passionately kissing each other before making love on the office floor. After the two have recharged their energies, Derek and Melanie track down the IT worker, Ray, who assists them in hacking into Smythe's computer. Ray steals all her information and stores them on a hard drive, which Derek uses to get her to come down from her office. With no other choice, Smythe asks Towers for her backup keycard, confident that she'd be safe from Derek and Melanie since Snyder has hidden his gun in the room where they'll be meeting. There, Smythe realizes that the gun is missing, and after Derek shows her that he has the firearm, she is forced to surrender her keycard. Smythe then demands they return her backup files, but when Melanie first asks her to sign her loan extension, and she refuses, Melanie destroys her hard drive. Enraged, Melanie asks Derek to give them a minute so she can beat up Smythe, and just as Derek is about to leave, Snyder shows up. As Melanie attacks Smythe, Derek fights against Colton. However, Colton easily overpowers Derek. When he's about to shoot Derek, Colton fires on the walls and uses up all his bullets before tossing his gun aside, deciding to use his solid brass knuckles instead. Weak, Derek still tries to fight back by stabbing Snyder with a screwdriver above the chest area, but the man doesn't even falter. Then, Snyder takes out his pepper spray and intends on burning Derek's eyes out, so Derek opens his mouth to catch the oily liquid and spits it out on Snyder's eyes before driving the screwdriver into his temple. In pain, Derek quickly searches for water to relieve his burning mouth. Meanwhile, Smythe reveals to Melanie that her keycard needs a passcode. When Derek returns to the room, Smythe tells him that she'll only give them the passcode if he leaves Melanie to her. Smythe is furious that Melanie has destroyed her work, and with the quarantine ending soon, Derek decides to knock Melanie out and ties her to a chair. An angry Melanie wakes up later on, but Derek's goodbye kiss makes her smile. In the elevator, Derek smiles, too, after Smythe enters the passcode, and he shows her the bolts he's removed from Melanie's chair. As the elevator closes, Melanie comes out of the room and attacks Smythe with a hammer. On his way to Towers' office, Derek punches himself while thinking about all the troubles Towers has given him, as if he's conditioning himself for a fight. On the top floor, Towers offers Derek a partnership contract just so he'd stop coming after him. However, two women attack Derek when he refuses, but as soon as he kills one of them and subdues the other, Towers finally decides to face him. Towers then gets another fix and mocks Derek for bringing a wrench to fight him, and as they struggle, Derek eventually overpowers him when he uses his broken mug's handle to punch his boss. Finally, the board gives Derek permission to kill Towers, so he gives him one last punch, causing the arrogant man to go over the railings and fall to his death. Now that Towers is dead, Derek calmly explains to the 8 why he deserves his job back. Derek replaces Towers, while on the other hand, the incident at the TSC has helped in accelerating a vaccine, which still needs the FDA's approval. Derek then signs his contract, approves Melanie's loan extension, and nonchalantly quits. Once the quarantine is lifted, Derek and Melanie leave the TSC building and take painting lessons later on. Derek believes one should paint his own path to success, and as he reflects on it, a shot of Towers' body hitting the ground is shown. After realizing his mistakes, Derek has finally decided to put an end to his company's unjust actions. It's a shame that a virus has become the reason why he's chosen to fight back, for he could have done it sooner. Now, he's finally found his happiness in painting, and being with Melanie is just the cherry on top.